Historical events like the move of our embassy are rarely greeted with unanimous support. Only time confirms the wisdom of the decision. While in Israel this past week, I had a chance to speak with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The opening of the embassy had to have been one of the most incredible days of your tenure as Prime Minister and maybe as an Israeli citizen. Tell us what it was like sitting on that stage.
It was history. It was history being made. It was made by President Trump. He decided to keep the promises made by successive American presidents. They promised, he delivered. And the nations of the earth refused to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Now comes the most powerful nation on earth, and its president says, Jerusalem is Israel's capital, and I'm moving our embassy there. That is a closing of a great loop of history.
Had you kind of resigned yourself that maybe this was not going to happen, it would be just more empty presidential rhetoric?
No,
You believed it?
I believed the president, yes, I did.
Well, he clearly came through, and not just on any day, but the 70th anniversary of the rebirth of modern Israel. Was that in itself an additional special blessing?
Yes, it was a fusion of so many things. One, the fulfilling of a presidential promise of great importance. Secondly, the 70th anniversary of Israel. Third, the addition of historic dates that culminated in this declaration. David established Jerusalem as our capital 3,000 years ago. King Cyrus of Persia enabled the exiles of Babylon to come back and rebuild our temple there 2,500 years ago. The State of Israel was established 70 years ago. Harry Truman recognized Israel, not Jerusalem, but Israel 70 years ago. And now comes this declaration, which is so historic in significance. And for me, it also had a personal significance because the embassy is built right where I spent the first 3 years of my childhood. So it all comes in together, the personal, the national, the international, history.
The Iranian deal has been canceled by the United States. You were instrumental in helping to share how the Iranians had been completely dishonest in their carrying out of their end of the deal. But a lot of people in the international community, diplomatic community, very unhappy with President Trump for having walked away from the deal. What would be your answer to those who say, oh, we need this deal, and why did the president make the right decision?
Here's what the people say who are criticizing the president and criticizing my position. They say, well, this is blocking Iran's path to the bomb. No, it wasn't. This deal actually paved Iran's path to the bomb, multiple paths, because it allowed them, within a few years, right now it's about 7 years, to have massive enrichment of uranium, which is the gunpowder you need for atomic bombs. And simultaneously, they could develop missiles, which is not covered in the deal, to carry these atomic bombs. And simultaneous to that, they were mothballing, hiding from the eyes of the world and the International Atomic Energy Agency. They were hiding the fact that they had a nuclear weapons program that we uncovered. So the three elements, the core of the bomb, enriched uranium, the missiles, and the weapon program that they were working on, that's not covered by the deal. That's a crazy deal. It's a lousy deal. And I'm glad the president had the clear-sightedness and the courage to walk out of this bad deal, which is dangerous. Now Iran has to figure out what to do because he's also done something else. This deal not only it had enriched uranium, it also had enriched Iranians because it gave them an enormous amount of money, billions and billions of dollars, which they use for this cash machine, for their war machine. That's what we see in Syria with their aggression. That's what we see in Yemen for their aggression. So any way you look at it, it was a bad deal, and I'm very glad he walked away. And he also brought Iran's war cash machine to a screeching halt.
I cannot leave without at least a brief response. Hamas has incited their own people to put themselves in harm's way. The world press pretends that it's Israel's fault that there was problems on the border of Gaza. How do you respond to that?
Hamas openly declares its goal to destroy us. They want to, they said, we'll get 1 billion people to rush the border fence and conquer Israel. Well, they didn't get 1 million. They didn't get 100,000 as they promised. They got a few thousand people. And you know how they got them? They paid them. They paid them. By the way, they paid them with Iranian money. So they paid them to go. Half of those who were killed yesterday were Hamas fighters or Islamic Jihad. That's paid by Iran too. Half of them. So this is not a peaceful demonstration. This isn't a non-violent demonstration. They're trying to rush the fence. They have weapons. They have explosives. And they openly say they want to get into Israel to destroy us. So of course we had to defend ourselves and prevent them from doing so. Any country would. But the ones who are responsible for this are Iran. They want those casualties. We try to avoid them. They want to incur them. It's crazy. These people are, they just don't care about their own people.
Mr. Prime Minister, it was a wonderful day. Congratulations to the nation of Israel.
Well, thank you for celebrating it with us.
Prime Minister Netanyahu is a strong leader and a wonderful friend. Let me encourage each of you to remember the words of Scripture where we're all encouraged to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Let's be faithful in that calling, and maybe we'll just watch and see what the Lord will do.